Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to attempt to make a video here. We are actually going to quit Season of Discovery, like unironically, and I'm going to delete all my, I'm going to give away all my stuff, and I'm going to delete all my gear, delete all my characters. Basically in protest of just how bad the Tarnished Undermine Real system is for the game. I'm going to go over it in no uncertain terms. Basically, there comes a point where how do I put this? It's like I feel so strongly about what I'm talking about right here, right now, that I don't want to see any of this philosophy or anything in Classic Plus. So one of the major reasons why I'm going to be quitting Season of Discovery, like really hardcore quitting Season of Discovery, is just because I don't want them screwing up a Classic Plus. But just know that they could easily fix all these problems. I think the Tarnished Undermine Real system is genius for PvE servers, and I think it is Nightmare Incursions level of terrible for PvP servers. I'm going to systematically prove my case here. However, if you engage with these solutions down here in Season of Discovery, I think the Tarnished Undermine Real system immediately snaps back to being genius both for PvP servers and for PvE servers. But allow me to explain why it is cancer first, why as a PvPer I will be quitting the game, and why I just feel so strongly about this, okay? It's going to get real passionate. There's going to be some swearing involved. It just is what it is. First, let's explain what the hell is pissing me off so much. What the fuck? One sec. Let me go pause the video. The dogs are like glass breaking or something. I don't know. All right, we're back. That was funny. Like I walk out there and I'm looking at two dogs looking like sad children that have done something bad. I couldn't figure out what the heck they were messing with, but some glass hit the floor out there. All right, so the Tarnished Undermined Reals. So basically, you get these coins in the dungeon, right? From killing bosses in the dungeons, and then you can go down to Booty Bay and you can turn them in for a resource crate. And these resource crates contain just about every bit of resource you could possibly want in the game. All right? Let me say that again. This means that you can do PvE content to get all the resources you could possibly need from the open world in Classic World of Warcraft. All right? So you can see where we're going with this. It makes it so that there's almost no reason to be in the open world in Season of Discovery. On a PvE server, not the worst thing in the world. On a PvP server, what the fuck are we doing, right? So, for example, Firewater. Normally you can only get it in Northern Winter Spring. On a PvP server, this makes it into one hell of a PvP hotspot. Essence of Water, that's in Fellwood and Eastern Plaguelands. One hell of a PvP hotspot. If you see Winter Spring Firewater on the auction house, you know a human being farmed that. A bot didn't farm that, a human did. Same thing with Essence of Water, can only be found in the open world. Same thing with Essence of Air, can only be found in the open world. Essence of Earth and Essence of Fire can be get in instances. Arcane Crystals, you can do that in Dire Maul East jump runs, Thorium Bars, Dire Maul East jump runs. Most of these herbs you can get Dire Maul East jump runs. Some of them you can't. I don't think you can get Silver Mountain Sausages in a Dire Maul East jump run, but I could be wrong about that. Grom's Blood is actually best farmed, and you can't get Ice Cap. No, maybe you can. I don't know. But the point is that inside of these crates, you can find so many resources that it very rapidly becomes economically unviable for a human being to farm the open world. So if I farm the open world for these resources, I might make like 25 gold an hour. If I engage in the real system, I'm probably making like well over like 100 gold an hour. Why my life? Okay, one second, let me answer that. I want to pause video. Oh my goodness. My wife is in America on a business trip, and she like wakes up at like 4 a.m. and gives me a call while I'm trying to record this video. Thanks, I guess. What? She's slowly getting sick too, so be advised. Where the hell was I? All right, well, we'll just continue on here and talk about these things one at a time. All right, so to begin with, we need to understand that there are two main reasons why a person will play a PvP server over a PvE server. There's a third lesser reason, and that's because their friends force them to, but that's a lesser reason and not a main reason. The first main reason is that they want to exist in an open world environment that is hostile and dangerous, where PvP could break out at any time. Okay? And the second reason is they want the better economic experience. Okay? PvP servers, basically any open world resource that is exclusive to the open world, that can only be found in the open world. On a PvE server, it'll be basically bot infested, and bots are extremely difficult to identify outside of PvPing them, which is one of the big problems. But on PvP servers, they get jumped on and killed and reported. It's the reporting part that really keeps the bots in check in open world farming on PvP servers. Because bots are incredibly hard to identify outside of PvP and are become incredibly easy to identify in PvP. So, for example, in Classic World of Warcraft, even on launch, and in Classic Era right now where there's no real system, and in Phase 3 SoD where there was no real system, you never see bots farming in the high-level zones in the open world, because they're just going to get killed and they're just going to get reported. They restrict themselves to instanced-only environments. This means that, again, if you see Winterfall Firewater on the auction house, in Classic WoW, you know a human farmed that, a bot didn't farm that. Same thing with Essence of Water, same thing with Essence of Air, same thing with Sandworm Meat, same thing with a great number of mats that the bots literally don't get access to on a PvP server because the PvPers are already engaging with that. The other great thing about this is that this is where the vast majority of PvPers... All right, let's just go through the system, right? Okay. Now, what I hate about again, I have a fever. What I hate about the Tarnished Undermine Real system is that it's brilliant for PvE servers. I love this system for PvE servers because on PvE servers, the open world is already completely screwed economically. It is already completely bot infested. So giving humans the ability to compete with the bots, open world farm ability, but to do it through instance content, which is what they love to do anyways, that's brilliant because there's nothing but winning there, right? The PvEers don't want to farm the open world. They want to go do PvE content, and suddenly you're telling them that they can get all the resources that they need and make all the gold that they need in the game by doing what it is that they love. Brilliant, right? On PvP servers, it's kind of the exact same thing happens without the Tarnished Undermined Real system. What the PvPers want to do is they want to gather all the resources and make all the money they need in the game through while doing what it is that they love as well. And what they love to do is PvP, not so much PvE, right? And the open world environment on a PvP server naturally creates this type of ecosystem. I have to go into the open world and farm these resources in order to make money, right? I can't compete with the bots and them spamming instances. The only way, so I have to go and compete with them in the open world. When I'm doing these open world farms, there's going to be other PvPers out there contesting me over these farms, and the vast majority of fighting I'm going to get into while I'm making money is going to be 1v1s in open world PvP. So in both cases, with the Undermined Real system, these guys get to make money and plug themselves in the economy and do what they love. And without the Tarnished Undermined Real system, the PvPers get to make money and engage in the game, in the economy, doing what it is that they love, right? But then, of course, the Undermined Real system basically obliterates this situation for the PvPers, as we're about to see. But it does make PvE servers happy. Okay, cool. So the first thing on the list here is Real system affects PvP servers differently than PvE servers. Okay, number one, kills the open world economy. We've already talked about that at length. It doesn't affect the PvE servers because their open world economy is already bot infested and completely fucking dead. But the PvP servers naturally have this problem on lockdown. It's completely fucking solved. It's not even an issue. It only becomes an issue if you force the PvPers out of the open world and into fucking instance content in order to engage in the economics. That kills the open world economy and gives it over basically to the bots, right? There's no reason to be in the open world economy because the Undermine real system, dungeon farming is more efficient on a fucking PvP server. Brilliant. All right, number 2. Opens world farm to bots on PvP servers, right? Okay, that's bad because that'll just further drive down the price. What's even worse is that the bots can go into the instant content and engage in the real system and fuck over the open world farm that way. So again, there's a problem that exists on a PvE server that does not exist on a PvP server that the Undermined real system solves on the PvE server, but brings back with a fucking vengeance on the PvP server. So again, it affects the servers completely differently. Number 3, it kills open world PvP. Yeah, because there's no fucking PvPers in the open world. I make 25 gold an hour in the open world. I make 100 gold an hour in a fucking dungeon. Where do I find my PvP? Oh, I don't get to PvP? Okay, cool. Fuck. Right? Thank you, Blizzard. Number 4, gives no reason to be in the open world. Yep. So, are we getting, what's it called? Nightmare Incursion vibes. No reason to be in the open world vibes. Everyone funneled into PvE content vibes. Huh? No reason to be in the open world for PvEers or PvPers, right? Just go into those fucking dungeons and spam them all. I would rather die than do another Skolomance real run. Unironically. Okay? As a PvPer, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. Like I said, when we're done making this video, at the very end, deleting all my stuff, deleting all my characters. We are hardcore quitting SoD over this. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Mainly why I'm doing it is protest. A strong secondary reason is that I don't want to be burned out on World of Warcraft when Classic Plus launches, kind of a deal. And I know from experience this means I need to stop playing WoW for about 6 months or so. So now is basically a good time, kind of a thing. I get to do 2 birds with 1 stone here. I get to both definitively protest this absolute abomination for PvP servers and get myself ready for Classic Plus. I don't want to see anything like this in Classic Plus. Like, holy fuck, please learn your lesson. Pretty fucking please learn your lesson. All right. Yeah, gives no reason to be an open world. Okay, number 4. Number 5, forces PvPers to engage in PvE content. Yeah, again, would rather die than do another Skolomance run. I'm so sick of PvE content. One of the reasons why PvPers are PvPers and not PvEers is because we find no skill-based or endorphin or ego-based enjoyment out of the PvE content. Right? And even when the PvP content gets... it's a bit of a catch-22. Because a lot of this, in my opinion, is because of a skill issue. Right? So, if you make the PvE content hard enough that suddenly the PvPers are enjoying doing it, that's a bad game design for an MMORPG. Because the bosses are going to have to be really damn hard. What's worse is, again, Fever. I'm gonna stop that line of inquiry. I'm gonna move to something else. Basically, what I often wonder, like, what's the difference between a PvPer and a PvEer? Because most PvPers start as PvEers, and then we get, I think, skilled enough at the game and knowledgeable enough at the game that we no longer find PvE challenging. And so that's what causes us to end up becoming PvPers. I think that's a large thing that happens for most PvPers, but I could be wrong about that. It's a little weird. But generally speaking, forcing PvPers to do PvE content is a really, really bad idea. There should always be the option, like, hey, go do PvP to do to gain this thing, or go do PvE to gain this thing. That way, you both make the PvPers happy and you make the PvPers happy. Again, it's important that the players have the ability to engage in the economy by doing what it is that they love, right? Engaging in the economy by doing what it is that they love. Oh, another great idea was kind of interesting. You could make it so that certain visual effects. Oh no, maybe that's a weird idea. I don't know. I was gonna say something like, imagine if you had like instance content or raid content that only 10% of the player base could complete. They get cosmetic rewards from it, but they also get cosmetic rewards that they can imply like an enchant to other people's items. And naturally, they would become incredibly valuable as a trade commodity. So, for example, like the molten cosmetic reward where your flames are burning. Imagine if that was a really hard challenge mode content. Heat 3 was challenge mode. It only gave you cosmetic rewards, but one of those cosmetic rewards could be enchantable on other people's gear. People would be running up to you being like, yo, dog, I'll give you like 200 gold to make my my weapon molten. And that would be a way that hardcore PvEers could do what it is that they love and engage in the economy, right? Again, there's that theme, that formula. But what's terrible about this is that you're forcing PvPers to engage in something they don't want to, and you're obliterating their ability to engage in what it is that they want to. Which is really, really bad. So on a normal PvP server without the real systems, if I want to go make gold, I have the option of doing dungeons, or I have the option of farming the open world and getting into a bunch of 1v1 PvP fighting. I can do either one. And when I get bored of one, I can go back to the other, right? Which is what we normally do. But now in Season of Discovery, I am completely effing bored of doing dungeons to engage in the economy. Let me go plug myself into PvP. Oh, wait, it doesn't exist anymore. Oh, great, fuck you. And this is the last one. This last one on this list, Kills Duels, completely took me by surprise. And is the reason why it took me so long to make this video. Because this entire time I was thinking to myself, well, the first thing I thought to myself was, when I first look at these crates, I don't think they had Essence of Water, Fire Water, or Essence of Air. So I was thinking to myself that maybe Blizzard was smart enough to realize they need to keep certain items out of this fucking crate. Otherwise, they're going to obliterate world PvP or any reason to be in the world whatsoever. So I was like, okay, well, maybe they're smart enough to figure that out, but apparently not. And then I thought to myself, well, at least I still have duels. Well, as it turns out, a need to be to farm the open world on a PvP server and duels are actually linked together somehow. Since the Tarnished Undermine Real system came into the game, I've watched the amount of people engaging in duels and even watching my 1v1 guide content fall off a fucking cliff. And I think what's going on there is, just like on a PvE server, there's no reason, you're never going to get into a 1v1 fight on a PvE server. Therefore, there's no real interest to learn 1v1 fighting. Therefore, there's no interest in dueling, right? You can see the causal chain there, right? With the Tarnished Undermine Real system, there's no reason to be out in the open world farming. Therefore, there's no reason to learn how to 1v1 PvP, which is the vast majority of PvP you will encounter in the open world PvP. Therefore, there's no reason to learn how to 1v1 fight. Therefore, there's no reason to learn to engage in duels. So this one took me by surprise. And the whole time I was thinking, well, at least I still have dueling. And then I just watch dueling go and crash. And you can really see it on the PTR servers where nobody's dueling on the PTR server. It wasn't like that in early Phase 4 when we didn't know Tarnished Undermine Reels didn't exist. People were PvPing left, right, and center on the fresh Phase 4 PTR. But on the now that we know Tarnished Undermine Reels existed, nobody's interested in dueling. So I'm like, all right, good to go. I guess there's nothing left for me here. I guess my PvP server is now a PvE server, and I'm forced to farm dungeons until my brain falls out of my fucking skull. All right, let's talk solutions. Because, again, the solutions are actually probably the most fascinating part of this video. Everything else is just me getting pissed off and ranting. But the points need to be made. All right, so let's get in fever. Drink of water. All right, solutions. I'll start with the first one. 1v1 arena PvP system for economic rewards. So this is a pretty interesting idea. So you could have a 1v1 arena-like PvP system where you're rewarded with Tarnished Undermine Reels. Let's say you're rewarded with like 1 reel if you lose and 3 reels if you win, just like the mark system, right? Or heck, you could have marks be traded for Undermine Reels at a 1-to-1 ratio, and that would cause BGs to explode into existence as well. Especially if it's not Alterac Valley, for the love of God. But yeah, I also like the 1v1 arena PvP system. Why is this a great idea? Well, what is the theme, right? If the PvEers can engage in PvE content and engage in the economy at the same time, why the hell are we denying it from the PvPers? Yes, the Undermine Reel system accomplishes this for the PvEers, but it obliterates it for the PvPers. We've already observed that. This at least gives the PvPers the ability to both do what it is that they love in the game and be engage and be economically rewarded for it, to engage in the economy for it, right? What it also does as a side effect is it gets the good PvPers out of the open world. And if the open world is not obliterated economically, right? Like, let's say you plug this into Classic World of Warcraft, but the Undermine Reel system didn't exist anywhere else, so people still had to farm the open world for resources. It gets the good PvPers out of the open world and makes it more inviting for to be farmed by less good PvPers. And that's important because there's 2 types of people that are on PvP servers. There's people who came to PvP, and then there's people who came for the economics advantages of being on a PvP server. And the people who came to PvP, they're more than happy to engage in this system. And the people who didn't come to PvP and just for the economic advantages, if they get the good PvPers out of the open world and they get to farm it now, they'll keep the bots in check 100%. They'll hold the line against the bots in the open world for goddamn sure. But they don't have to deal with absolute PvP monsters out there anymore, denying them from farming the open world. So it's kind of a weird win-win there. So a little bit of a side effect there. You'll never see bots in this arena PvP system. Again, they're too easily identified and reported and too easily to beat. So the same reasons you won't see them in open world PvP, you won't see them in an arena PvP system, whether they're rewarded with Tarnished Undermine Reels or not. So that's pretty cool. This second one might take a little bit of talking, but this is a new idea to me. Hopefully someone's had this idea in the past. If not, feel free to send me a check. This one's actually pretty good. So you know that stupid bot checking thing that happens when you try to log on Battle.net, and it's like, you know, hey, move the arrow so that's pointing in the direction that this thing is pointing, or yada, yada, yada. And it's checking to make sure you're not a bot when you log in. How interesting would it be if when you entered a high-level dungeon in Classic World of Warcraft, you ran into a boss, like the first thing you have to get past is a boss that has 5 pillars in front of him that are, and 5 holograms that are literally asking you to do the exact same thing, right? Turn the arrow to match the direction of the hologram in front of you. So it's literally a bot check at the beginning of a dungeon. Now, what you would do is you would reward players for engaging in this bot check, and you would also put challenge modes into this bot check, depending upon how many of them you got right versus how many of them you got wrong. Because the humans are going to be able to control the number of rights and wrongs, and the bots not so much. So let's say you go into the dungeon, and you get 5 out of 5 correct, right? You then get to fight this boss who is, you're then rewarded because you get to fight this boss who isn't all that hard to kill. He'll drop like, a fair bit of reward more than normal. So like, 3 tarnished undermined reels or like just raw gold, like, 10, 15 gold, 20 golds, something like that. So that the players aren't annoyed by this. They're more than happy to come here. And that's one of the reasons you come to the dungeon is so you can kill this damn boss and be rewarded right at the start. So whether the dungeon goes well or not, or you guys wipe or not, at least you get this nice reward from it. And of course, the secondary reward is that you get to go do the dungeon. If you get 4 out of 5 correct, then the boss becomes like a challenge mode boss. And it doubles or triples the rewards, and it's hard enough that only something like 40% of the player base can actually kill the challenge mode boss. And then you could have like a super challenge mode boss with like a title or a cosmetic reward. If you get 3 out of my bad, what would that be? 2 out of 5 wrong, specifically. But you want to make the boss hard. But the boss is hard enough that the bots are going to get pretty much annihilated. Yeah, so you get the idea. What I like about this idea in general, about this bot checking idea, mini boss at the start of the dungeon and rewarding the players for it, is what's cool about the open world PvP system is that you can use PvP in the open world at an economic level to shut down botting. Botting does not exist on PvP servers in high-level zones in the open world because the PvPers absolutely annihilate them. They shut that down hardcore with a vengeance, and that is awesome. And that's also what's going to be happening in this arena system. Even though it's instanced content, the bots can't mess with it. So the holy grail for me is trying to figure out a way to also get them out of the PvE instance content, which they're notorious for farming, if possible. But of course, under that circumstances, you can't use PvP. You can't leverage PvP to get to annihilate the bots. So I've always been looking for another way to do it. And this whole boss checking system, challenge mode, reward the players thing, seems like it would definitely go a long way to helping control bots and help the economy in Classic World of Warcraft. So I think that's a really good golden idea right there, and it actually is going to piss me off in the future if I don't see every MMORPG doing number 2 here. To be perfectly honest with you. All right, number 3, and option 2 gets a lot better when we talk about option 3. Especially on a PvE server. PvE servers. All right, so number 3 is lean into the PvP bot control. So lean into using PvP as a way to control bots. So specifically, I'm talking about, I've always thought that how it should work on PvE servers is that in Classic WoW is that in the higher level zones, if you kill a mob that has a chance of dropping one of those resources, like an Essence of Air, an Essence of Water, Sandworm Meat, or Winterspring Firewater, the sheer act of killing one of those mobs flags you for PvP. Doesn't have to flag you for PvP for very long, like a minute, but it flags you for PvP. Heck, you can even make it like 30 seconds. Gathering an herb node. The sheer act of starting to gather an herb node flags you for PvP for like 30 seconds to a minute. The sheer act of starting to mine a mining node at the higher level zones flags you for PvP on a PvE server. So this would allow the PvE servers to police the bots through PvP, right? Effectively solving a problem in the open world that PvE servers are notorious for. And incidentally, kind of making it so you don't need an undermined real system to try to compete against them. That's how I've always thought it should work. Other ways to lean into it economically would be to, and this is a problem with Season of Discovery as well, is that there needs to be more resources that are exclusive to being farmed in the open world. Though the mobs that you can farm them off of need to be faster respawning in the open world, and they need to be harder to kill. Generally speaking, they probably should be elite mobs for a level of difficulty to kill. In Season of Discovery, in Classic World of Warcraft, all of this stuff is kind of already taken care of. Classic World of Warcraft, open world is already extremely challenging. Takes a long time to kill the mobs. Blah 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 blah. What this means is that, like in Northern Silithus, the essence of air farm can in Classic WoW can only really support it can support like 6 people because of how long it takes to kill the mobs, right? But in Season of Discovery, you're so lethal compared to the open world that farm can only really support like 3 people or even 2 people at any given point in time because of how quickly they can kill the mobs and how slowly the mobs respawn. So making the mobs take longer to kill, making the mobs respawn faster, making them flag you for PvP, all of these things are very, very good for getting people in the open world to farm, especially on a PvP server, yada yada. It's a thing about Classic WoW that you should be leaning into, not running away from, if that makes any sense. And on PvE servers, normally these farms would be just completely owned by the bots at all times. But again, the moment they're flagged for PvP, by the sheer act of killing those mobs on a PvE server, is the moment the bots can no longer engage with that open world farm. So I always thought that in Classic World of Warcraft or in World of Warcraft general, we should be controlling the bots by flagging their asses for PvP, like 100%. But I'm not a PvEer, and this might make PvEers like super unhappy. I don't think it will. I think they would kind of understand. But they might end up being like, cry, cry, cry. I can't farm the open world. Boo-hoo. I get flagged for PvP. I didn't sign up for this. I think the Tarnished Undermined Real system fixes this, however. Because what it does for the PvE server is that if you combine these two together, right? So let's say you have an Undermined Real system. You have the bot checking system in the dungeons. And you have my proposal of being flagged for PvP when you engage in the open world. And we're doing this on a PvE server. If I want to quest or do anything of that nature on the PvE server, I'm unflagged. So as a PvEer, I'm perfectly happy. If I'm going to dungeons to go do dungeon farms, I'm not going to engage, and I'm not flagged. Therefore, there's not going to be any PvP. Therefore, I'm super happy. The bots are kind of getting screwed over by this stupid little by this number 2 bot check reward system, and as a PvEer, I'm super happy about that. I can do dungeons rather than farm the open world, so I'm happy about that. But at the same time, there are PvPers out in the open world, keeping the bots in check out in the open world. Because if you make the open world farms respawn fast enough, and you make the drop rates lucrative enough, the reason why no one's in the open world right now in SoD is because the Tarnished Undermined Real system is significantly more lucrative than farming the open world. But that's just numbers and respawn rates of mobs, right? You could very easily tweak it so that it is more profitable for you to farm the open world than to do dungeons, but they're close enough that people would, want to do the dungeons. And suddenly, the PvEers wouldn't mind that the open world farm flags them for PvP. They're like, oh, I hate this, it sucks, I'm just going to go do dungeons. That would be their response. But some PvEers are going to be like, oh, fuck yeah, I don't mind if I'm flagged for PvP. I'm going to go farm the open world. And that would keep the bots in check both in the open world and would keep bots in check at least a lot better in dungeons. Blah, 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 blah. I think it's also really good if it's even, I think it becomes even better if it's paired with solution number 1 here, the arena system. because it gets the good PvPers out the hell out of the open world and puts them into this system to engage in economics, which is something PvEers on a PvE server, if you're flagging them for PvP, if you're farming the open world, would be very happy about, right? Because they don't want to run into a PvP monster. They don't want to see them in the open world if they're doing the open world farm. They don't want that. The PvP monsters will be engaging in the arena system as a general rule. Yeah, so I always thought that we should be leaning into the PvP system to control the bots more, and the Tarnished Undermine Real system has opened my eyes to some serious problems, but also some serious opportunities, right? As far as future changes that could be really good here. But as it stands, this right here is an absolute colossal mess up on Blizzard's part. Like, maybe I should take it easy on them. Maybe I should be like, I don't know. Maybe I should give Blizzard a chance, man, to like implement some of these changes and fix it. But I hate the fact that the Tarnished Undermined Real system absolutely obliterates open world PvP server. So it's like, let me type /who in Ajara. Jesus Christ, where's my slash button? Where's my, thank you. Fingers. Okay, so how many of these people out here do you think are bots? Let me go find like a node or something and stand next to it. I could ask them, but it's like Chinese server time, so who knows. But there being only like 5 people out here is a tragedy. Before the Tarnished Undermined Real system, there'd be like 20 plus people out here farming Ajara. But there's just no reason for it because of the Undermined Real system. And I want you to try to look at things from my perspective, okay? I signed up to play on a PvP server. I've spent... what's going on here? I don't know. How long have I been paused? That's kind of annoying. Seriously, how long have I been paused? /roll, pause. I have no idea how long I've been paused. Anyways, I'm standing here by a thorium node in Ajara, trying to wait for a bot to come around. You guys missed it, but I basically just did 2 /rolls. I can do it again. I mean, it's fine. Oh, here, okay. We might have something here. This person is a bot. I already know this. I've already fought her before. Alright, bot check. Bot versus bot check. Yeah, it's a bot. But anyways, I've killed her before. I already know it's a bot. Let me go /you out here. There's nobody out here. That's the first thing you should observe. And the second thing we need to observe is just how few people out here. Is just how few people are actually out here in Season of Discovery. So I rest my case. I rest my point. She'll come back. I'll fight her again, and it's literally a bot. I've already fought her once before. I have visual proof of that. Anyways, I was doing /rolls, and for some reason my game was pausing. Right. So I was trying to explain. Look at this from my perspective here. All right. So. Oh, it paused when I typed /played. Okay, that makes sense. So I typed /played. It paused the game. Okay, cool. So look at things from my perspective. I've been playing this for like hundreds of hours. I've been doing all this work, all this research, all this investigation. I signed up to play on a PvP server. I've gotten all this way in Season of Discovery, and Blizzard puts Tarnished Undermine reels in the game and turns my fucking PvP server into a PV. My badge. Blizzard turns my PvP server into a PvE server, and they basically kill any 1v1 PvP that existed. I cannot find it in an open world unless against bots. The bots are out in the open world. What the fuck? On a PvP server. And also kills duels. So basically, everything that I signed up for and I came to play for, they basically have obliterated. Now you missed the slash rolls, but basically what I was saying is, and the thing that really makes me want to quit more than anything is the fact that I'm forced to engage in PvE content in order to engage in the economy. Like, I'm so sick of doing dungeons as a PvPer, and I'm so utterly sick of doing dailies that I'm just like, please give me something else. Please let me go PvP and farm the open world or something. And I come out here and there's just nobody here. There's just bots. And you're just like, and you just can't make money. And I'm like, well, fuck, man. I just need to quit the game. I don't have a choice. I got to quit the game. So you missed it, but I did 2 slash rolls here. So basically, I'm so vexed. I'm vexed on this so much. Let's do a bot check. We don't want our mountain. What the hell are you doing, bro? Alright. We just don't want her mountain, so she wants to heal up. But I'm so vexed as what I should do that, like, should I stay or should I go? That, honestly, as a Christian, I have to start asking God. And one of the things I really like to do... No, we're not mountain. We're not mountain. One of the things that I like to do... bot confirmed much, is I like to roll the dice when I don't know what to do, and just let God kind of do that stuff. Let's stun her. Let's see if she's still a weirdo. So I like to roll a dice and just let the chips fall where they may. Let's kill this pet really fast here. So we can further concern with the bot. A real human player would not want anything to do with after seeing that. Okay, listen, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, we'll just let her beat on me. I don't even know what this thing's doing. Come on, show me you're not a bot. It's waiting for its mana back so it can revive its pet. Jesus. Don't you want to bet it just goes into pet revive after it comes out of the stun? Yeah. That is a non-existent mana bar. Look at that. That's terrifying. Healing pet. Yeah, it's a bot. 100%. Jesus. Oh, thorium node's back. Nice. Where was I? So here are my questions. I'll do the slash rolls again. Since it was paused. Alright, so this first slash roll is for if we're quitting the game or not. If it is below 50%, we're quitting the game. If it is above 50%, we're staying in the game. And then I have to do a second roll if we are quitting the game. If we are quitting the game, the question becomes, do we delete all our stuff or do we not delete all our stuff while quitting the game? And when I did it, and I wasn't recording, they were both 12s, so we were out. But let's do it again and see what happens. Looks like we're staying in the game. So lucky you guys for the anti-recording things. I am so insanely depressed. in Season of Discovery right now, I cannot bring myself to do anything. I can't bring myself to rank. What the fuck is the point of getting the PvP gear? I can't bring myself. The duels don't exist. The open world is dead. They literally turned my PvP server into a PvE server, and I am super depressed by it. The other thing that I really need to do is I need to quit WoW, a Season of Discovery at some point, so I don't burn myself out for Classic Plus, right? So at some point in the future, I'll have to leave Season of Discovery, but man, the Tarnished Undermine Real system just makes me want to die. It's horrible. Let's go test out this guy. Hey, you bot? How we doing? Alright, I got some stuff on me. Like a virgin. Touch. He's certainly acting like I'm a bot. Like he's dotting me up like I'm a mob. Which is interesting. Hey, we a bot? What are we? You okay? Alright, I'll pretend I'm a bot too. Ooh, scary. Oh boy. I've never seen bots on a PvP server before. Like, it has been years since I've seen bots on PvP servers. But here they are. Oh, are you sure? Oh man, I'm literally praying to God right now to let me quit this fucking game. But to be honest, I really should give Blizzard a chance to fix the problems, right? It's not like I didn't come up with a bunch of good ideas and stuff. What do we think? We think it's a bot? Do we think it's a bot? I'm gonna go with maybe. Okay. 2 for 2? Alright, we're done here. Bot check fail. I can't check the Alliance for bottages. That's supposed to be the Horde's job out here. You know, again, let's type /u. How many humans you think? How many humans you think are out here? PvP server, bots, high-level zones. Should not be happening. Alright, well anyways, I'm going to end the video here, and Deus Vult, incredibly depressing, is what it is, and yeah. See you guys later. I'm still going to title this video, quitting Season of Discovery, because honestly, I could quit at any time. It's like I'm not literally going to quit the game, but dear fucking God, can I not bring myself to play it? So for all intents and purposes, I'm quitting. Like I don't know what to tell you. I just don't know what to. I cannot bring myself to play this fucking game right now as a PvPer. Just absolutely disgusting. Anyways, I'll end the video here. Deus Vult.